Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nude Clan.
Woo!
I am Joe.
I am A4.
I am Zach. I am Caleb. They went to go to the gas station and go get some drink. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be reviewing, me and A4 at least, are going to be reviewing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remastered.
The official title is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. There's no remastered.
Does it not have a remastered on there? Is it not
No,
remastered?
it's just Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2.
So yeah, we can pretty much step right into it.
We're the only ones who played it.
Yeah, we're the only ones who played this one. So it is a skateboarding game developed by Vicarious Visions and published by Activision. There's not enough visions to go around in these titles. It was released for the PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Should mention the PC version. It was exclusive to Epic Game Store. I don't know if that's for like only a year, but that's how I have it.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
It was on September 4th, 2020. And I guess, it looks like it's on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S as well.
Did that just come out?
And just barely came out for the Nintendo Switch. So it's on everything.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's on the Switch now. I don't know how the fuck that runs, but you can get it on your Switch.
It is a remaster of the first two games in the Tony Hawk series, which is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater from 1999 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 from the year 2000. Which were originally developed by Neversoft. It is the first major game in the series since Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, which I didn't even know existed. So
it's bad because Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 was developed by the same studio that tried to do this exact thing before when they came out with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD for the PS3, and it was bad.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm.
How could it be bad? Who
the
could
physics
fuck
were
this up?
The physics were way the fuck off. I think it was the studio. I'm not looking this up right now, so forgive me if I'm wrong. I think this is the same studio that worked on the Tony Hawk games where you had the board that was like motion controlled that you put on your feet. Tony Hawk Ride and Tony Hawk Shred.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I do remember that being like a dud sales-wise.
I think those were made by Robomoto, who is the company that made Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 was like infamously bad. People kind of forgot about the HD version, but 5 is just a fucking mess. Like they eventually kind of fixed it a little bit, but it still doesn't really feel like classic Tony Hawk. Whereas this one, I can at least confirm the physics feel like 1-to-1 with the original Tony Hawk games.
Yeah. So Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 was developed by Robomoto and Disruptive Games. So different company. And this was Vicarious Visions' last game before they were merged into Blizzard Entertainment earlier this year.
Before they went to the Call of Duty mines, yeah. Vicarious Visions also known for doing the Crash remakes that came out a few years ago. And also, they have a history with the Tony Hawk franchise. They were the ones who put Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, 3, and some of the other ones on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh, shit! I've always thought about picking one of those up and being like, how would this actually play? Because, I mean...
It's weird because it's like overhead and isometric.
Yeah.
I never played them. I know my cousin had at least one of them. They always looked not nearly as fun as like the main games, but like surprisingly better than what you would think a Tony Hawk game on the Game Boy Advance would play like.
Right.
So
that's crazy.
There's that. But that's them. They were the ones who did those. So they have a history with the franchise at the very least.
Yeah, so they apparently this game sold 1 million copies within the first 2 weeks, making it the highest selling game in the series of Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Really? Even considering the popularity this series had back in the day? Because no one fucking skateboards anymore, so it's like... I think the original couple Tony Hawk games really coincided with this big boom of making kids want to actually try skateboarding back in the late 90s.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, I'm just trying to think about like an interview or two I've heard of from Tony Hawk talking about this game and talking about his life.
Because they put out a documentary
I haven't seen
somewhat recently, I think. It's called Pretending I'm a Superman.
Okay, is that about Tony Hawk or skateboarding?
It's about like the game specifically, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
I want to
anyway.
look into that because I remember. I mean, I was definitely one of those kids that wanted to skate, but I think I got into it too old, and I went in there as like a junior high school student trying to hop onto the skateboard, and it just scared the shit out of me being on that little board, like that flimsy thing. And I did it a little bit, like I would take my shitty like, I don't know, $10 skateboard from Walmart to the park and kind of go around its like little cement path and like kind of wreck off of it and stuff like that. There was one day where I gave up skateboarding totally. And that was just trying to ride a skateboard. It wasn't doing tricks or anything like that. Just trying to ride the fucking thing was nearly impossible for me. And like my girlfriend that I dated in high school, she longboarded a lot, so she tried to get me into that, and that was like a disaster. But the ultimate disaster was in junior high. I went to the skate park, and all I did, it wasn't even like I wasn't even trying to do a trick. I just got on the board and like moved forward like 4 feet, slipped, and the fucking like. I had the worst sprained ankle of my life. I couldn't walk for 2 days, and I had to go make sure it wasn't broken from the doctor, right? And then I had to I was just limping for about a month, and it was bad, dude. And that ankle still like kind of like makes crackling sounds when I move my feet around. Like it's my ankle problems on my right foot are all thanks to me trying to skateboard. Thanks to its popularity / Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, which I did play quite a bit.
So I take
back
it
in the day.
I take it you never tried to like actually drop into like a quarter pipe or something, which is a lot harder than you think.
No. I didn't try to do anything substantial at all.
Yeah.
It was simply just riding on the board. Like I couldn't get my mind body connection to work with that fucking thing at all. So yeah, big, huge series of games up until about
2006, I want to say.
Yeah, so like the first game came out in 99, and from 1999 all the way until Tony Hawk Pro Skate or Tony Hawk Underground 2, like the series of Tony Hawk games were just like great with sales. People loved to play them, and then they fucking. For me, they disappeared off the face of the planet, but they did put out other games. They just didn't do well. Not.
I had a few friends in like high school and college who had stuff like American Wasteland and Project 8 and whatever the fuck the other ones were.
Yeah. When I
Proving Ground or something.
When I started playing this game, some guy had like a retrospective on the series on YouTube, and I listened to him talk about it, and he was talking about how basically they kept on fucking around with the physics after the Underground games. Like they just like how fast or how slow your character was or something like that. And I'm sure if like you're a player who's used to the series and you went into a game with like very different physics, it would suddenly become like, oh, you know, this isn't what I'm used to, right? Like you can't get into it as quickly. So
that was
I can imagine that being a disappointment.
That was the problem with the Robomoto games, is because they just got them. They didn't feel correct. Like you can even just watch footage of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD or 5 and just go like, oh, this doesn't even look right from what I was just playing with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. And yeah, they kept trying to fuck with shit. Because I don't know how many of them were being developed by Neversoft after Thug 2, but Activision was just real big into like annualizing all their franchises at that point after Tony Hawk or after Call of Duty started getting real popular. You notice that there was like a Call of Duty game every fucking year after Modern Warfare. Same thing started happening with Guitar Hero, sometimes multiple Guitar Hero games just based on like specific bands. And Neversoft was also, this is why I'm not sure if Neversoft was doing the Tony Hawk games after Thug 2, because Neversoft started becoming a Guitar Hero developer after a while. They started with Guitar Hero 3, and I think moving from there, like they were the ones that made like World Tour and 5 and Warriors of Rock or whatever the fuck came after. Yeah. So
and Guitar Hero Metallica, of course. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, that was just a spin-off of like 5 or whichever one was the last main game. Like literally they would put out a main game and then they would put out a bunch of spin-offs where it would be like Guitar Hero Metallica, Guitar Hero Aerosmith, Guitar Hero Green Day, Guitar Hero. Yeah, exactly. Actually, no, Beatles and Green Day I think were both Rock Band, but it's the same problem.
So they didn't have any big ones, so I got you two little ones.
Schweiss got me some drinks, by the way.
And then
Thank you.
The Powerade was buy one, get one. So I just bought you 2.
Oh, thanks.
But they didn't have any big bottles.
Oh, I just wanted a normal one. This is the right size.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So we're good.
I'm not used to the normal.
Yeah, no, you get the
new normal.
big ones. All right, so all the hosts are actually here for this episode now.
Oh.
And we're in the middle of talking about Tony Hawk.
Oh, you guys already started.
Yeah, we already started. That's why I did this motion to Zach when he came in, but I guess he didn't see me.
I thought you were just motioning the size of his penis.
Oh, yeah.
Over an audio format.
Slower and slower with my...
Yeah.
Well, why not?
It looks
why
a
not
lot
have,
like the shut the fuck up symbol, but...
Yeah, like, is Joe telling me to shut up, or is he calling my penis tiny?
You did?
Well,
I saw you do this, and I was like, the fuck is that?
You know, the part this is just, I know it from fucking
I
Master of Disguise. This is what you are doing. This is what I want you to do.
I didn't see you close your hand. I saw you look like this from the door. And I was
Of course, the only thing Joe can think of when he does this motion is the Master of Disguise. Of course.
Classic film, of course, with my beret and
Dana
my
Carvey's
cigarette.
finest fucking hour. Before we get into other stuff, Zach and Schweiss, what is your guys' history with skateboarding / the Tony Hawk franchise? Because you guys are about the same age as us. I'm sure in the late 90s you were part of that whole skateboarding boom that occurred.
dude, when I was in like late 90s, early 2000s, I was skateboarding. And I put a shit ton of hours into that PlayStation 1 this first Tony Hawk game. Like, an obscene amount of hours as a child.
I like to skateboard. It wasn't late 90s. I mean, in the late 90s, I was born in 91, so I was only like 8 or 9.
Yeah, that's 1 year. That's 1 year older or younger than me. So it's like,
yeah. Well, I didn't skateboard till I was in like junior high, middle school. So probably like 2004.
Well, that's what Joe said too.
I was never that good at it. I did do a kickflip once, and I did do a grind, but my fucking cheap ass Walmart board broke, and I fucked up my arm after that. I like smacked into the ground, and it created this like weird like bubble bump on my bone. And then later, I was doing another move with my new board. And I fucking wiped out,
if you will.
Yeah, and I wiped out again and landed on that spot, and then it was pretty excruciating. So I have done one kickflip. It was pretty sweet.
I mean, that's better than me. I can't even ollie, so it's like...
Yeah, I can definitely do that, but I don't know about now. I don't even want to touch a board now. But I loved Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. That's the one that I had, and that is like the ultimate Tony Hawk game. As far as I'm concerned, it's the one that's super fun. Everything about it is iconic. The soundtrack is amazing. It's like perfect.
Yeah, as like an iconic thing, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 is probably the ultimate. Mechanics wise, I would have said Thug 2 because it introduced like getting off your board and all this other shit.
Yeah, well.
But I would actually argue now that this one might be the ultimate Tony Hawk game.
Did we talk about your history with it, A4?
Oh yeah, I got Tony Hawk 2 back in the day. I had to convince my mom that it was okay that I got a game with blood in it. And I did skateboard. Yeah, my mom was like overprotective like that. It sucked.
And it didn't help.
And I turned out fine. Talking about women's mental ages. But
yeah, and porn games and
yeah, it turned out great.
Exactly. So good job, Mom. You did a good job.
There's no blood
I became a degenerate anyway.
Just come.
Oh, there's blood in porn.
Couldn't play.
What porn games are you playing?
I'm sure there's blood in porn games.
Anyway, my mom did a good job raising me. I still became a degenerate. I couldn't play Halo or Grand Theft Auto as a kid, but
Joe was playing the Hyman Hammer. That's the bloody that's the bloody porn game.
Hyman Hammer.
Yeah, we call it the HH. Sorry,
HH.
Hyman Hammer.
Mom, can you please buy me Hyman Hammer for Christmas?
A good name. That's a good name for someone's.
That's
dick.
a good James Bond title.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah,
Hyman Hammer.
Oh yeah.
That's a good porn parody. James Bond in Hyman Hammer.
and Hyman Hammer. There's Thunderball, there's Goldfinger, and then there's Hyman Hammer.
What's the galore?
Mr. Bond, how would you like your hymen? Shaken, not stirred.
Soft, not pounded. It's beautiful.
I think one of my answer uncles got me a really decent skateboard when I was around 10. By the time I was in junior high, I definitely realized like I wasn't going to get anywhere on a skateboard, and it sucks too because
I thought it was in life, which I'm like, yeah.
Well, you know,
He didn't know it was an allegory for life at the time.
dude, it sucks too. It sucks too. I got rid of that skateboard before we moved into this place, and I'm actually like a couple blocks away from an actual skate park.
Bro, you were too old to be going skateboarding.
No,
I
I
agree
saw
with
Tony
you.
Hawk. I saw Tony Hawk, and then that one blonde singer chick that made the Skater Boy song,
Avril Lavigne?
skateboarding the
Avril
other day
Lavigne.
Okay, but they still
on the
did it.
interwebs.
Like A4 is just like he hasn't done.
They're
it.
old- they're both
I would not
older
go
than
to the
us.
skate park. I would not go to the skate park now when there are children there. I would wait till after dark, and then I would go there by myself and then wipe out and
Yeah,
probably
when-
bleed out on the concrete because no one's around to help.
When the teenagers are there, they're gonna pick on you. And
Did you go, hey, you, I don't like your girlfriend.
he's like, no way. Do you think I need a new one?
Yeah.
I think she's married to the guy in Sum 41.
Chad Kroger. I thought it was Chad Kroger.
No,
she
yeah,
was.
she's-
She is now married to the guy in Sum 41.
Bro, she's just
I was looking up
jumping
shit
around.
on Sum 41 the other day, and that's where I like.
She's
started
jumping
coming across
around
it.
with all these like lead singers.
Yeah, lead singers from little punk bands, I guess.
Yeah.
From bands that we don't like.
I like Sum 41. I like Sum 41 a lot fucking more than Blink 182. Jesus
well,
Christ.
yeah.
Why it's all in your yet?
And I
We knew that.
Look,
We knew
she got
to-
married to the Sum 41 guy because she didn't want to waste her time becoming another tragedy of society.
Yeah. Man, all you got to do to make a punk.
and now she's in too deep.
See, now she's all. We're all to blame for what happened to her now.
You come to Nude Clan for the video game reviews. You stay for the pop punk references.
That "We're All to Blame" song is a freaking banger. I wish that more Sum 41 songs sounded like that song because it's like
Yeah.
a metal song almost. But the rest of them are kind of like poppy.
All you got to do to make a punk band is find one 3 to 4 letter word and then a number you like, and then you're good to go.
Blink 182, Sum 41.
Fuck 12.
Fuck 12. Yeah.
No, let's go a little higher than that.
Yeah, you better go over 18. Fuck 19.
Fuck 69. All right, now let's all loosen our strings on these instruments and just slap them until they break.
I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting that for like a decade now, my Twitter bio is a Simple Plan reference. That song, "I'm a dick, I'm addicted to you." I don't know if you know that song.
Nope.
Simple. Well, because Simple Plan is like pop punk, but like for even younger kids than pop punk normally is. It's like pop punk for under 10s.
So somewhere
have songs
between
like-
the Wiggles and Blink 182, that's where Simple Plan lies.
I don't know if
Wiggles-
Blink 182
the Wiggles
is
is
for kids.
pop
Like
punk.
Blink 182 is at least a little
Definitely
bit
the
like
only
naughty.
people who actually listen to Blink 182 are children.
I understand this. I'm just saying those are like the kids that those are the kids that get away with listening to naughty music when their parents aren't paying attention. I mean, like Simple Plan is just like easy, safe pop punk for fucking Christian camp kids or some shit.
All right.
These fucking kids.
Anyway, Tony Hawk really fell off in the late 2000s with stuff like Tony Hawk Ride and Shred, as we mentioned before. And also, there was another series that was eating Tony Hawk's lunch. It was the Skate series by EA, which was a much more realistic skateboarding simulator that instead of using buttons to do all the tricks, you would flick the right analog stick in different directions.
Oh. I've never tried
it's-
skate.
It's good. It's honestly really good. It's a lot harder, obviously, but like when you start getting used to it, it's pretty dope.
Well, it's like the
But-
Microsoft Simulator version.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
Like, why don't I just have a real skateboard?
Yeah, like, why don't I just buy a plane?
Why don't I just buy a fucking airplane? If I'm
Skate-
gonna
skate
going to
was-
take 20 years to figure out how to do this, might as
was
well go to
definitely the
fucking
more,
pilot
like-
school.
Skate was definitely the more like hardcore game, whereas Tony Hawk was the more like arcadey thing. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that they brought back this arcade style Tony Hawk game, and it works, and it's not made by a company that makes dog shit games.
Oh, so I want to underline my Tony Hawk history real quick. Oh, Tony Hawk Pro. So as I have said on this show before, I was always a system behind until the PlayStation 4. So whatever the systems were at the time, I always had the next one back. And I would always have to go to friends' houses to play like the actual system that people were playing games on at the time. So I had a friend named Justin, and I'd go to his house to play video games a lot. That's where I played a lot of Halo and stuff when I was a younger kid. So after about 15, this didn't count, but before I was about 15 years old, that's basically what I would do. So the skateboarding game we would play constantly against each other would be Tony Hawk Underground. It wasn't Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 or anything like that. It was Tony Hawk Underground. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 at that point had been an old game. But of course, when I had mowed all those lawns but wasn't patient enough to mow more lawns in order to get a modern system, I decided to buy a PlayStation 1 for $50. And one of the first games I bought was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 for like relatively cheap. And that's when I became obsessed with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Once again, soundtrack iconic, but I was playing it probably 5 years later than people were normally playing it. So I think Tony Hawk Underground 2 was a new game when I was playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, by the way, is still among one of the top ranked games on Metacritic, like ever.
I believe it. It.
Yeah.
And then after that, when everybody had moved on to the PS3 and the 360 and those systems, I got a GameCube, and I got Tony Hawk Underground for myself instead of playing it at my friend's house, and I played Tony Hawk Underground constantly. And then I believe I rented Tony Hawk Underground 2, and that's about when I stopped being in love with the series. I didn't really like Tony Hawk Underground 2 very much.
Well, because it's Viva La Bam the game, basically.
Yeah, it's like Jackass the game.
Yeah, and Bam's kind of a dumbass.
So, I mean, they know it. They made a movie called Jackass.
I know.
But anyway.
But it's still not amusing to me. I don't know why.
But Jackass the movie doesn't let you play as a kid in a wheelchair, which Thug 2 does.
Oh my God. Oh, can we all... Oh, let's move back. I can imagine. Let's just go into my world for a little bit here.
Why is it so gay in here?
Hold on. Now let's... okay, all right. So
don't turn on the black light in here. It looks like a Jackson Pollock
Orange County Choppers T-shirt, guys. Baggy jeans. Everybody should be wearing baggy jeans. We
Jinko
got this.
Jeans.
I wasn't good enough for real sneakers. I got some Airwalks on. Okay, so just imagine wearing those clothes, sitting down, CRT TV.
Chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water in the boombox.
I'd not listened to that. I promise. It was more like the Linkin Park's Meteora on the boombox. Maybe turn it off and listen to some Loveline with Steve-O talking and then playing Tony Hawk Underground. That's the world I want people to imagine. That's the kind of shit that was going on in my world.
You're drinking Pepsi Blue.
Eating ramen or drinking A&W root beer. And
sponsored. No, just kidding.
And also lots of Kraft macaroni and cheese. So
dude.
Just imagine that world, and Tony Hawk was such a wonderful escape, knowing that I could never get on a real skateboard, but god damn it, I loved playing like I could in this game. So, yeah, Tony Hawk Underground and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, constant repeats for me. And so I was really excited to play this remaster version. Although it looks like, I was looking at the making of thing, I glanced out on the Wikipedia page, and it was talking about how they made it in Unreal Engine 4. They were able to get almost all of the game. Like they were able to, they spent a lot of time just trying to match the physics of the old game. So it really seems like it was a remake. It wasn't a remaster, but the Wikipedia page is calling it a remaster. But I think it's just a straight up. I think it's a straight up remake where they just tried to match it as close as they could, and then also give you. I think they added a couple functions, right? They added.
They added basically all of the functionality up to Thug 2 minus the getting off the board stuff. So you can do reverts, you can do spine transfers, You can do manuals, which you couldn't do in the first game. And they also have the wall slap move.
You can do manuals in the first game.
Are you sure? I swear they added that for 2, but whatever.
For sure. And Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, I do not believe manuals were part of that.
Okay, I was like, Pro Skater 2, they definitely were.
Oh, yeah.
They're in 2, yeah. But I mean the very first one, and this includes the first one, so it's important to, yeah. And they also included like the wall slap move that's in Thug 2, where like you can press the jump button as you're like heading towards a perpendicular wall, and you'll like bounce off of it to continue your combo and stuff.
Interesting.
Basically all the good combo extending oriented functionality from the first like 6 Tony Hawk games are in this.
But no getting off your skateboard like in Underground.
No,
none of that.
That's basically the only thing they didn't have, or the oft forgotten freak out option in Tony Hawk Thug in Thug 2, where you could, if you bailed, mash the triangle button and then break your board to start a new combo immediately.
So there is no story for this game. It's like a straight up almost arcadey sort of situation with this game, so we're just gonna
like the first few.
We're gonna skip the story section of our review, and so the other categories are weighted heavier.
Real quick before, it's weird how we all had like different ones that we did.
Oh yeah, if you want to
because I did like
it.
Tony Hawk 2 and Tony Hawk 4. Those were the 2 that I played a lot. And then you were saying you played a lot of 3, and I was like, I never really played 3.
I didn't play 3.
Oh, somebody said they played 3. Maybe it was one of the other
I didn't
guys.
play 3. I actually only bought that recently for PS2. I still haven't played it. But my games growing up were Tony Hawk 2, Tony Hawk 4, and Thug 2.
Okay, so we had it kind of similar. But I played Underground 2, but I didn't really like it. I thought it was too much.
Underground 2 was over the top.
Yeah, and I'm
by
kind of
design.
The gameplay was still fun, but like
That's the peak, I think, of the gameplay of the classic Tony Hawks. But like, the story's kind of hit or miss depending on how much you like
the areas,
antics.
the story, the window dressing of the game is like really painful.
When you have to like when you have to do a mission in New Orleans, which causes it to become a zombie apocalypse, and then you have to like do something else to cause it to go back to normal. Stuff like that.
And I was always like, yeah, Bam's just a douche back then. I mean, I still kind of.
What are you talking about, dude? I'm the best ever.
Yeah, like I was just like, I'm not into this game. But what about you? Which ones did you play?
Tony Hawk and Tony Hawk or Pro Skater and Pro Skater 2. Those were the 2 when I was a kid. And
one I played later, but I played it on the N64. One of my buddies had it. It's pretty fun. Like 1 and 2.
I had Underground for Xbox, like the original Xbox, but I just didn't like.
We have it here. I'm pretty sure it'll.
Yeah, we do. It's upstairs.
Yeah, so I was just like,
you ever feel like playing it?
Yeah.
And that's when they actually started adding like stories to the game, but they also added a bunch of shit like, here's a part where you drive a car, and it's like, all right, fuck this.
I mean, I have brought up on this show before this remaster version came out, I've brought up Tony Hawk so many times because of character customization in Tony Hawk Underground is so detailed, but yet like for Final Fantasy 14, it gives you like 5 fuck off choices. Like I can't make a person look like me in these fucking games.
Yeah,
but in Tony Hawk Underground, a game 10 years older than all these other games, it just like every option on the planet as far as how your character looks.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk's Underground 2 had a service where you could upload a picture of your face and they would like put it on the model on your PS2.
Yeah.
Like, you had the network adapter. Yeah, seriously, it was nuts.
You can do that in Madden now. It's pretty funny. It kind of fucks
so all those Uncle Ricos out there can live their dreams of the NFL.
Maybe it wasn't sending it into them and having it downloaded through the network adapter, but if you had an iToy like I did, you could use your face in Tony Hawk's Underground 2.
Yeah. And then it's funny because 14, it's like a game you're going to spend 14 weeks of your life in.
Final Fantasy 14, yeah.
And then with Tony Hawk Underground, it's like you'll play it for maybe 30 hours. Your character looks just like you. But in 14, it's like, there
were other, close. Like, I remember Mortal Kombat Armageddon or something? It was the one that had every single Mortal Kombat character in it. It was one of the late, like...
PS2 ones.
One of the late... No, the PS3 ones.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 9?
Oh, no, I mean... Maybe I do make PS. No, it was on the Wii.
No, it was probably PS2. I am pretty sure
there were like a million on
the
It was the one that was like we're going all out, and then it didn't do that well. But yeah, it was the last of that. I think it was kind of the last of that era before Mortal Kombat fixed itself.
I think it was Armageddon. Yeah, I think you're right.
Armageddon. that had a character customization in it, and that was probably the first game where I started having the complaints of like, I know what character customization looks like. This is not character customization. This is like, oh, we have a couple presets you could fuck around with, but it's not like, how big can I get my biceps? How about this part of my nose? How about this part of my nose? How about this part of my nose? Like,
it's not as good as like Souls or Cyberpunk.
I just think it's just silly. It's just silly that like that old skateboarding game had way better character customization than these huge AAA titles.
Right. It at least makes sense for Thug, because that game is all about your story growing up in like a shitty town in New Jersey and then like rising through the ranks to become like this big top pro skateboarder.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess that is kind of its angle, but I don't know. I just want in an MMO, I want a character to look like me. I used to wear Hawaiian shirts all the time because, I was a fashionista. And
I was going to say you were a fat.
I could always put Hawaiian shirts on my guy.
I'm qualified.
He was a fashionista.
Fashionista.
No, I was trying to combine fashionista and fat, and it didn't really work.
Fatsionista? I don't know. You can't. Fatsionable? Nah, that doesn't work.
What are you, Lane Bryant?
But no, man, I fucking love this series. I love this series up until Tony Hawk Underground 2 kind of in a weird direction. And it seems like the sales for the series follow that. I remember American Wasteland existing, but that's about it. And then I remember one day probably looking at the game store at one point, and I saw the big skateboard, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Like,
oh, yeah, that thing sold like utter fucking... No one bought that fucking thing. I remember living in Philly in college and going to FYE. Dude, I went in FYE all the time when I used to live in Philly, and they had like a wall of those fucking things. Like, you could hide behind it. It was so tall.
So this was one of the biggest video game series ever. When it was
about 5 years.
Yeah, for about 5 years. Exactly.
Well, I mean, it's not like...
Isn't that so sad?
Well, not like skateboarding.
I don't think anyone played the PS3/Xbox 360 era Tony Hawk's. Like, I remember going to like some guy in the apartment building in Philly's apartment, and he had like Proving Ground or something, and I was like, oh, cool, Philly's in this game. Like, I could walk to there right now. Anyway, this is stupid. Let's go do something else. And then it's just like, no... It fell off the face of the fucking earth, and it didn't help that Skate was the game that like actual skateboarders cared about in comparison.
Yeah. This game is just Tony Hawk Pro Skater and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 put together.
All levels remade from the ground up, completely new graphics, and they look real good, by the way.
And what you do in these games is you just pick a character. You can play as Tony Hawk or play as your own guy. And then... Or
one of the 18 other guys, I forget.
Yeah, you gotta like unlock them. Though.
I got stuck as Tony. So I played the first like 4 levels. I got stuck as Tony Hawk, and I was like, the one I used to play as the other was like Bucky Lasik. So I was like trying to get him. I can't fucking get him.
Yeah, you gotta like unlock him or something like that.
Pretty upset.
So, and how these you can go on to one or the other kind of linear path on these games, or you can do like a custom game where you just fuck around in one of the levels. But in the original, it's the original way of doing Tony Hawk. So you play one level, you get enough of the things unlocked as you're playing along. And
you do enough of the goals, you should say.
Yeah, the goals. Sorry, I can't think of words right now. And then next map opens up, and you keep on doing that until you have all the maps beaten, and you beat the game, basically.
Yeah.
And with this, it has like a progress bar where you beat all the goals within all the maps for each of the games, which I did for both Tony Hawk 1 and Tony Hawk 2.
Yeah, they have I don't know if this was added later, because I was going through this over the past couple of weeks to refresh myself. They have the combined tour option where you're going through both.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Games. You're going through both games things, and it's counting all the stat points you have and all the goals you've already done. But then per character, they also have a solo tour option where you could just play as like any character like Tony Hawk I hadn't played as yet, and then just go through the levels and do all the goals again, but you're also missing like all the cash pickups and stat bonuses that you already got. So
yeah. So you were saying before it's 2 minutes.
2 minute time limit, classic Tony Hawk. 2
minute time limit, and you're in like usually it's not a straight up skate park, but for
Like the school.
about 3/4 of them. It's like it's some real life thing. Like you in the second game, it's like an airplane hangar. But it's
hangar,
like it's like a
mall,
hangar,
school.
but someone went through and engineered a bunch of ramps, and a bunch of rails all over this hangar, and
There's
you're
a bit
going
of
through, and you're trying to. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different goals. You got things to pick up, things to like smash into before, and you got to try to get those goals done before that 2-minute timer
high
is up.
scores, stuff like that.
Yeah. So you keep on going back into the level trying to get the goals that you haven't unlocked yet.
Yeah.
And some of those goals, I mean, most of those goals are picking things up or finding things and doing tricks on them or whatever. And then the other goals are the high score points where you're just trying to get good combos. And just trying to get better and better at the game. And that kind of helps you in the multiplayer aspect of the game later on, which I didn't really play that much of, and I wish I had played more of.
I think I played like one match ever.
Yeah, back in the day, local multiplayer with the split screen. Hell yeah, come over. We're going to play Skate on Tony Hawk.
They kept all those modes in, but they're online now, so you can play like graffiti and horse and all that shit online, which is really nice.
Hell yeah. Sorry, horse was the game, not skate. Fuck.
Yeah. My favorite as a kid was you could put in your own word instead of horse, so I would make us play like fuck. Yeah.
I mean, that's the really original.
I was a really creative kid. Yeah.
I bet no one else ever did that.
Your mom was worried about you seeing blood.
But yeah, that's the game, and you're just skating around doing tricks all the time with these things, trying to get high combos. It plays almost exactly like the original game. I do think it's a little bit smoother and a little bit. How would I say this? When you're doing the spins in the air, when you're turning around off of a ramp and you're going up into the air and you're spinning back down in order to land the trick at the bottom, I do think that is slightly harder in this version.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
I think it's harder to land that shit.
Dude, okay, that's when I was a kid, I kicked ass to that game. When I started playing it, I'm like, I can't fucking do this shit.
I think it might be, it could be the graphics and the lighting where you're just not seeing your guy quite as well.
Yeah.
But it could also be that, like, the controllers back then, I believe, only had, like, however many directions in each degree on the stick, and this is a lot more finesse than that.
Right.
So I think that might be what it is.
Dude, I was getting pissed because I'm like, I should have landed that goddamn skin. I was mad.
Well, because there's also, you can use the L1 or R1 buttons to turn left or right faster in the air.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys knew that.
I didn't know that.
There's that.
I didn't know
That's
that.
interesting. Well, I started doing the thing where you do the reverse when you hit the ground, which I believe
the revert, yeah.
Yeah, the revert, which I believe is a new function for this version of the game.
No,
it's new for Tony Hawk 1 and 2. I believe that was introduced in 3 originally, but it's a really good combo extender.
And that helps you. It helps you land that so that you could do a revert and then kind of hop into a manual if you want, or a special manual. Yep. And like the old games, you have special tricks and all these sort of things. But anyway, it's just like a sandboxy, dorky kind of fun experience playing this Tony Hawk game, and man, it really made me miss Tony Hawk. Like, when I started playing this remaster version, everybody was saying it was good, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I love that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Going back in there, first off, seeing the levels again in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 made me feel really good and nostalgic. I never played the first Tony Hawk, so going through and playing those levels and seeing like how they were inspired in 2 to make different levels based upon the ones in 1 was really cool. And then the gameplay is just fun. It's some of the funnest gameplay in any game ever. And I'm not like a sports gamey sort of guy, but they really had some magic for those first like 6 Tony Hawk games.
This was like the sports game that, as a kid, not being into sports, this was like the one sports game that I was like, yeah, this is good compared to like your NCAA football or whatever the fuck. Or I guess like the only other sports games I'd play are the Mario ones, but like this was like an actual sports game that I could be like, yeah, this is like really good and tight and just fun and arcadey.
Yeah. And do you remember
in a way that like NBA Jam or NBA Blitz was like not super realistic, but just fun enough that it's like, yeah, this is I could just pick this up and play it.
Do you remember the demo for the BMX game on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I played that a lot.
I've considered going and playing those games because they're almost the exact same thing. I remember that.
I would play the demo for Dave Mirra's Pro BMX, and I'd be like, man, this sucks. I'm going to go back to skateboarding.
Oh, is that really how you felt? I don't know. I had fun in both.
Because like landing a bike off of a ramp is so much harder than a skateboard because the wheels are way bigger. It's like I felt like there was a much, and then like if you land backwards, then you're pedaling backwards, and I'm like, this is odd. I'm not. I
wanted the extreme scooter game. So I had a scooter when I was younger, just like doing flips with the scooter.
Dude, the fucking Tony Hawk 4 had a demo for a pro wakeboarding game of all fucking things.
Really?
Dude, so like,
yes.
Wow. I was doing like those snowboarding or like those games, like what is it called? The Winter Sports, what the fuck? That's what the Tony Hawk ones got me into. Was reading that
Sonic Winter Olympic Games.
No, I don't play Sonic, so I'm straight.
That's actually
there was almost a Sonic skateboarding game that they found on like an Xbox dev kit.
But the real question is, did you guys play the skateboarding game in Metal Gear Solid 2?
Never played Metal Gear Solid 2 very much, so
I played it a bit, yeah. Because I think I have that version of Metal Gear Solid 2 on the HD collection.
Yeah,
where it's like one level from Konami's like failed skateboarding game. I believe it was called Evolution Skateboarding.
Yeah,
and they just included it in MGS2 as a fucking bonus.
It's actually kind of fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Nice. It's like halfway decent. It's no Tony Hawk, but it's like serviceable.
Yeah, it works.
So, how do you feel about the gameplay, A4? I fucking love it.
Gameplay on this. Honestly, for basically being the exact same game that it was 20 years ago, just with a few added bells and whistles. I was going to say, too, I do believe this one plays a lot smoother than the original, just because I think a couple of years ago I did go back and play Tony Hawk 2 for the Hog, and it's a little clunky compared to the new stuff. But yeah, Tony Hawk... Like 10 out of 10.
I feel like controllers have changed just a little bit. Like me and Zach were talking, it's harder to land the tricks, and I think that's why, because it is smoother, but there's still some finesse when you have to land it like right on so that your character doesn't fall over.
I agree. I just meant like the gameplay in general, because like I did play Tony Hawk 2 for the PS1 somewhat recently, and yeah, it's just a little clunky compared to the more modern games. Just skating around and like going off ramps and shit just feels a little slower, a little more choppy. It's hard to describe, but yeah, this is like 10 out of 10 perfect pick up and play arcade gameplay. Just fantastic. There's a reason Tony Hawk 2 is like one of the highest rated games of all time.
Wonderful multiplayer.
It's just fun.
Wonderful multiplayer to couch co-op or not. There's not a co-op, but like to play together in the same room kind of a thing. That's wonderful. Yeah, I only played the multiplayer a little bit because it was online in this thing, and I just decided.
I'll say I've seen videos. Angry Ass Black Dude's fucking insanely good at this game.
Is he?
He's getting like 1,000,000 point combos and posting the videos to Twitter. It's fucking nuts.
I've gotten 1,000,000 points. No, I haven't gotten 1,000,000 points. That's
like
a
combo.
A combo?
Like in one combo, yeah.
How?
Manuals.
Just being really good at the game, just like finding a really good, crazy good combo.
Oh, no, that's
line
one of the trophies, and I was trying to go for it. So I've gotten in the like mid 100,000s, but I've never gotten to, I've never gotten 1,000,000.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's really fucking good at this game.
And some of the
also,
maps are not as fun with those.
Yeah.
Some like maps downhill. Are really hard. Yeah, that one specifically. Downhill
Jam
is such a pain in the ass to try to get those high scoring points off of. Oh man, I'm remembering.
Any of those maps where like any of those maps where you got to go down to the bottom and then go back from the beginning, like Mall is the same way, kind of.
Yeah, Mall was easier to get the combos on for me than Downhill, but Mall was also a pain in the ass.
But one new thing in this that I do like, you were talking about the trophies. There's no trophies in the Epic Game Store version, obviously, but the entire game is built around these challenges, just little tiny bite-sized challenges that you unlock over time, and you get little rewards for each of them. And they're always constantly recommending new ones for you. There's like different lists of challenges that you're trying to complete, and it just feels like really good to get a new challenge beat and get like a new skateboard deck or even maybe a new character or something, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
So I really like that aspect of this game. There's a lot of Creative Park challenges that I don't have yet because I barely fucked around with that.
I made lots of parks back in the day. I didn't make it
Same
for this
here.
version. Got too many games to play because I host video game podcasts.
I will say I fucked around with the Creative Park stuff like a couple hours ago when I was playing it, and it's really in depth. There's a lot of crazy shit you can do with this new park editor.
You can make some legit levels, basically.
Dude, some guy just straight up made Hill Valley from Back to the Future as a level.
Nice.
It's it's crazy.
Yeah. So the customization's amazing in that aspect. And like I don't know, the gameplay is just great. There's so many aspects to explore, and I beat the game, obviously. Like, this is when I finally tried weed. Or edibles. I never smoked it still. I was in Colorado after like having the migraines. And I had marijuana. And you know what? And there was a point where I was like, okay, I got to get rid of these edibles before I move back to Utah. So I was like at the end of the day, I'd pop one and I'd play Tony Hawk, and it was perfect.
Yeah, I can't wait till you're running for office later in life and you're going to be like, oh, I had edibles, but I never digested.
I never digested them. Yeah.
I was trying to find the equivalent of I never inhaled. Like, never digested it, though.
Well, no one cares anymore.
I always vomited it back
Unless
up.
you're the Olympic Committee. No,
You're just laying on the couch, just shoving Doritos in your mouth, going, pretending I'm Superman.
I don't know, man. It was just like, first off, it was wonderfully nostalgic, but also it's a really fucking good game. And it's just fun to go back in there. And here's the problem with so it gives you those 2-minute timers, right? And you have goals to complete. And you're trying to get these like big scores or whatever. These high score things or combos, and you'll do the like you'll
Sorry.
you'll press like, okay, 2 minutes, and then you go, okay, I gotta go to bed, but okay, one more, okay, one more. Okay, it's only 2 minutes at a time, right? So you're just doing one more over and over and over again, trying to get these combos. So like, yeah, I was frustrated with Downhill Jam, like doing the high combos and the high points or whatever that I had to get. But
it was fun the whole time.
It was still, I was addicted to it, and I was going back into it over and over and over again to try to get it.
Yeah.
It is one of the like prime examples of the just one more gameplay style. It's so perfectly diluted into that. And what you were saying before, if there's one thing you want to take away from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, none of this shit we're saying is like rose-tinted glasses. None of this is really nostalgia. It's a part of it, but at its core, this is a good game. This is a well-designed game.
Yep.
Like,
and it's
through and through.
No question as to why it was such a big series for the 5 years that it was such a big series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then someone
It's
fucked up
just
along
good.
the way, I guess.
Bam Margera fucked it all up.
Is he in this game? Because I know he got into like some shit somewhat recently. I don't know if that like messed up the licensing or not. I didn't bother to check and see.
I don't think he was ever in any of the other ones.
I don't keep up on my Bam Margera movies.
Because he was never that good.
No, he was in there since the first one.
Really? I don't remember
he's a playable
Bam.
Really? Because he had his own. He was part of Element.
Oh, I don't remember him in there.
Yeah, because back in the day, me and my friends used to play them until we could unlock the like skater videos, and like Bam's videos would basically just be CKY videos or like pre-Jackass shit.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
But
shit,
yeah, no, he's been in there for a while. But they do have most of the returning skaters in there, even some weird ones like Alyssa Steamer. Like they found her in whatever crack den she was living in, and they have some new ones too. Like Riley Hawk is in there. Some new kids that I have no fucking clue who they are. A lot of chicks. I was surprised. I was like, there's like 3 or 4 like girls in this game. I was like,
yeah.
Tony,
they're all awful.
Girls
like, no.
That's how you play on hard. You're like, man, they fucking suck.
No, I'm not even. No, I'm not even trying to say this. I was just like, damn, I didn't know there were like new popular skateboarders.
I know women skateboard.
Yeah, like, that's what you do when you select hard mode. It's just the 2 chicks.
In the original games, the women characters in the original games were it was either Alyssa Steamer or like Private Carrera, or if you made a girl as a custom skater. There's like barely any chicks in these games. So I was shocked. I was like, wow, there's like a lot of new skateboard. I don't know any of their fucking names. I don't know who any of these people are.
I mean, it has been 11 years since the original game was released. There's probably more pro skaters to pick from. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. They're in this game, but they basically got all the old ones back, like Bob Burnquist, Bucky Lasik, Chad Musk, all that shit.
My boy Bucky.
I always
Rodney
played as Rodney Mullen. Yeah, I liked the manuals. Those were cool.
How do you feel about the gameplay, Zach, since you played a chunk of this recently?
Yeah. Like you said, man, it was really nostalgic. Like I sat there, like I was just like, kind of smiling. I was like, dude, I remember just like hanging out, like
I want
it.
my childhood back.
Yeah, for real.
This game reminds me of before my family got divorced.
Before Dad went to prison.
Oh, that's going to be true for a couple of our listeners. You know that.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, yeah, like the whole like sensitive stick thing.
I got a real sensitive stick these days.
Stops you with your manuals, huh?
Yeah. Love those manuals.
Yeah, honestly, it just seemed like more of a streamlined version of the OG, which was nice because I was like, button mashing, like
I think like landing those tricks or getting the manuals, the more you play the game, the more of the points you get. Like the more you open up levels, you get the skill points because there's usually 2 or 3 per level, and by the time the game is done, your guy is maxed out on stats. So
pretty much
doing manuals, doing everything gets a little bit easier as the game goes along. You just have to get better at it, and then the game gets easier.
Maybe just like the
and you can
the
restat your character. So like if you need to do a specific goal where you need like bigger air time, you can restat them so they get better air and maybe take away from your grinding or something.
Exactly. So
it was just my only complaint was thinking that I had landed something and then
you did
ate shit.
Yeah. Specifically going up a ramp, twisting around, doing a manual or a Japan, and then coming down. Not a manual. What do they call that? It was an M something. And then coming down. A spinneroo. And then coming down thinking you have it straight, but you don't.
And your guy's like, and it's like slides on his knees or like smacks his head into the concrete. Like, oh, I'm dead.
That mostly happened with me with special moves. Like if I had Tony Hawk do like the varial like twist, he would just like end the move sideways. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna eat shit right now.
Whoops.
Yeah.
So you got to have a lot of air so that you have enough time to be able to like straighten yourself back down. So the more the stats, the bigger your stats get, the easier it is to get those higher combos because you're not crashing as much, frankly. That's a big part of it. But no, I loved it. Gameplay is 10 out of 10 for me.
Same here. Just absolutely classic, reimagined, not even reimagined. This game still holds up 20 years later. It's so good.
Yep.
I would agree with that.
What do we do? Art,
graphics and design. What do you guys think about the look of the game? Character design.
Personally, like it looks fresh. Like it looked good. I mean,
yeah.
I like all the facelifts they gave to a bunch of the levels. Like the mall level is like decked out, so it looks like the mall has been abandoned for a long time, and it's like derelict. And there's like mall closing signs all over the place. The airport hangar, they decided to turn into like a giant fucking Tony Hawk's Pro Skater shrine, basically. It's an airport hangar, but like they have all the box art for all the Tony Hawk games on the walls and shit.
Yeah, that was cool.
Downhill actually looks kind of like a dam now instead of just looking like a brown tube that you drive through.
It's definitely an improvement off the old games. Although I don't think the old games looked bad for the time.
No, for sure.
No, they looked fine, but like they really took the time to add these little details here and there that just really make this feel that much better. Yeah, it looks fantastic. I'm a really big fan of a lot of especially growing up with Tony Hawk 2 and then like seeing the New York level like fully realized.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, it actually kind of looks like New York City now. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't think
Same thing with Philly.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite a modern game standard with this thing. I don't think like the lighting effects or anything and they had opportunity for that in these levels. They could have gone like balls out on the graphics. I'm not saying they should have because this basically was a remake of 2 older games, and it's kind of a risk to be pumping more and more money into like a graphics thing if you didn't. Well,
especially with how iffy the Tony Hawk games were in the past decade or so, including the last time they tried doing this exact thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in 2013.
So so I'm not going to give it a perfect score on graphics, but I think I think the game looks perfectly good and not distractingly bad or anything like that. Lots of again, there's lots of good customization there, and then the actual like gameplay designs of the level are great, but also kind of the look of it is a big part of that. So I like the look of this game. I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
I think I'm going to mirror your 8. It's really good. A lot of little details added here and there. Really just feels like, I mean, it is the same fucking levels from the PS1 games, just with the graphical fidelity to make them actually look like the places that they're emulating.
Yeah.
Again, not that the original games had bad graphics or anything, but like now
They're pretty jagged,
when you get in,
but,
when
yeah.
well, yeah, but now when you get to like Venice Beach and you see the sun setting and all the graffiti on all the fucking half pipes, and it's not just like a 14 by 14 texture. It's just really good looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm jealous I didn't play this.
Oh, and the new version of Skate Heaven looks fucking awesome. I don't know if you unlocked that yet, Joe.
Skate Heaven, is that the
hidden level from Tony Hawk 2?
Oh yeah, I did. I unlocked that.
The space one. It's fucking awesome.
Weird.
Looking.
I'd never gotten that far in the original game as much as I played it. I played the multiplayer way more than I played the campaign stuff.
Yeah.
Frankly, I was not as good, which I didn't think this would be possible. I was not as good at video games then as I am now. Like now I can figure out how to do those fucking combos and get those high scores after a while. But then I just didn't have the patience for it. So I only made it through like, I think when you got to do like the school's only second level. I'm thinking the skate park, like the halfway level where you're fighting other people. I think that's the
Versailles or something.
That's the highest I ever got in terms of levels.
The big skate park. I forget what the California one. I forget what it's called.
Big skate park where you got to get a high score in order to move on.
Yeah, it's like a tournament
the competition
thing.
one.
Yeah.
Fucking original Skate Heaven, just skate park in space basically. This one, skate park in space, but there's like neon rails and there's a few areas where like you can go through like a weird portal and it looks like you're back on Earth for a second, and you can like see that through like the portal, like as you're moving around like imagine what like Prey did or like what Portal does. It kind of looks like that. And then there's just a big fucking Mount Rushmore with like Tony Hawk and Riley Hawk and a couple other skateboarders.
Nice.
It's so fucking cool.
I love how the maps are interactive, like smashing glass and like cars running you over and shit like that. Just this whole fucking game is so
There's
great.
a challenge in the game for getting hit by a car on every single level that they're in.
Really?
Or like a vehicle. Yeah.
Wow.
And then Jack Black yells at you because he's in this game.
Nice.
I should mention Officer Dick. If you do, it's kind of hard to get all the challenges to unlock Officer Dick, but he was a hidden character in the original game. He is played by Jack Black in this game.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My father.
Pretty much. So you get hit by the officer in the School 2 level, riding around in a golf cart. And he's like, "Tally ho, motherfucker!"
Nice. Shit. Cool. Graphics and design, 8s across the board. What do you guys think about the sound and music in this game? Voice acting, the soundtrack, all that shit. I know they cut a few tracks from the soundtrack.
That was the biggest disappointment for me.
They cut like 4 or 5 of them. I can pull it up, but they only cut like a few, but they added so many more that it doesn't even matter.
It was
no,
a
dude, because
combo.
some of the music they added sucks. It's like all that like the new some of the newer raps in there, like the mumble shit, and I hated it.
I didn't,
They do,
I
yeah,
didn't
but you
hate
can
it, honestly.
They have the soundtrack features where you can just like take those out of the playlist if you don't want to hear them.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
still-
Just give
they
him my
still have it.
Spotify.
I mean, I love that it had the soundscape of the old game. So I don't know if I can really like objectively judge the soundscape of this game, like how it sounds in headphones or anything like that. I have no idea. It was good. It worked for the game. All like the sounds when you win something, like all those things. The characters driving by and yelling at you or whatever. Those are
The absolutely classic special fucking sound. Yeah.
Yeah, those are all fun. They're still in there. The soundtrack to 2, I can't figure out what songs were missing off of there.
I have the list here. Unsane Committed, which I swear I was playing that earlier and I heard that. Bring the Noise, Anthrax, and Public Enemy, which is honestly a huge loss because that song rules.
Yeah.
B-Boy Document 99, the High and Mighty feature in Most Def and Mad Skills, Out with the Old, Alley Life, and Suicidal Tendencies, Psycho Vision, which I swear Psycho Vision's in there So maybe it got added in later, but yeah.
I don't know if it's just our minds fucking with us because we played the old game.
No, because like it has a little playlist thing at the bottom that tells you what song. I swear Psycho Vision's in this game. But pretty much every other song from Tony Hawk 1 and 2 are in there. Stuff like Police Truck, Superman by Goldfinger, fucking May 16th by Lagwagon, all the ones you like. And then they added a bunch of new ones that weren't in there originally. There's a Less Than Jake song in there now. There's a fucking Real Big Fish song in there now. There's
I had fun going through, listening to it and being like, okay, can I guess if this was from the original, like the first Tony Hawk game and I didn't know it, or if this was a new track? And honestly, sometimes I had a hard time telling. Because they really, I felt like even with the new songs, they matched them pretty well. There was like one rap song that had like a modern reference in it, and I'm like, okay, well that one's a new song. But there were, I had a lot. And the one fucking song, and I put it in our chat earlier, the song that got stuck in my head constantly was Let's Do It. Bing, bam, yeah. That was a brand new one, and Honestly, I think it slaps.
Most of the songs
I love it. Every time it came on to the fucking thing, I was like, yeah. Bing, bing. But it's like this weird pop song. I like don't even understand it. But that's called All Talks. Like, let's do it.
There are a very few songs.
New favorite track. Favorite new track.
There are very few songs on this new soundtrack that I think are objectively bad. Like the Machine Gun Kelly pop punk song that was in there, I fucking turned off because it's insanely bad. But other than that, and I'm not even like a big rap guy, but I'll like pretty much this entire soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I love the soundtrack. If anything, just the mood of it as you being a skater is just a lot of fun. So even if you're not really listening, the one song that kind of got annoying was like, "Gotta have passion, gotta have sense, man, gotta have passion," and hearing that one bugged me. I think that was a newer one.
Probably,
but I've never heard that in my life.
But
it almost makes the older songs kind of stick out a little bit when I hear like Jerry was a race car driver, and I'm like, wow, what the fuck? Like, I love Primus, but like, why is this in this again?
Jerry was a race car driver. Yeah, dude, I fucking love the soundtrack, and 10 out of 10 for Sound of Music for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I want to give it a 9 because of that Machine Gun Kelly song, but no, I'll go 10 out of 10. Because you can turn it off. So it's not any song you don't like, you can just turn off. So, Zach, you can turn off the Real Big Fish song that you probably don't like.
You can.
Ska sucks.
I believe you could just press songs on repeat, right? Like,
wait, is that the Primus one?
No.
What? Oh, okay. I was like, I was like, did I figure out what ska is finally?
No, ska's like, so here I am doing everything I can. Basically, if it's like that style of music with the horns, it's ska. So. Less Than Jake, Real Big Fish.
When it's like 4 virgins in a band that don't get laid, and they're like, it's
I don't know. I still don't understand.
This is the only game. Like Power Man 5000 is sweet in this game.
Oh my god, I love that. That song is so fucking good.
What you gonna do, baby?
Now this is what it's like when worlds collide.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So fucking good.
That and then the Rage Against the Machine song were my favorite ones.
Yeah, Guerrilla Radio, which was the opening to Tony Hawk 2. I can't not think of Tony Hawk 2 when I hear that song. So much like how most people can't think of Goldfinger by Superman by Goldfinger and think of Tony Hawk 1.
Yeah.
Or maybe Police Truck. I know a lot of people think that way about Police Truck too by Dead Kennedys, but yeah. Great soundtrack, 10 out of 10. Machine Gun Kelly song sucks, but like Jake said in the chat, Power Man 5000 cancels it out, so it's fine.
Yeah. All right, so the final, and some would argue the most important category of them all, replayability. How likely are you to replay this? What is there to replay?
I mean, I feel like
do we have to even
load? Like,
do we even have to say it's a 10?
Now look. Some of you guys bring in other factors like, oh, you can do this in the game, you can do this, and that. I only bring in that factor when in my replayability score when I'm not going to replay the game. I have already replayed this game. I've played it constantly as a kid, at least the second half of this game, and then I played it a lot. I played a good deal past me beating the little campaigns. So replayability in this wonderful, fantastic fucking game. Please, God, put the whole series out like this and fix them all, and then do Tony Hawk Pro Skater 6 and have it have these physics in it. Yeah, 10 out of 10.
The problem is now they're probably not going to, since they're going to be working on Call of Duty stuff. They're working on,
yeah, well,
like Schwei said a couple weeks ago, they're working on a game that's not coming out for another 3 years.
You can only hope that the next studio that has a main Tony Hawk game can look at this, the success of this thing, and be like, okay, we need to, the speed, the physics, we need to match those, and we just have to work on level design.
That's what's so weird is because, like, Activision knows this game was successful. At least I think they do, because it's the fastest selling Tony Hawk game ever made, apparently.
Yeah,
and
this one
to just be like, all right, you guys who did this amazing Tony Hawk remaster, you are now a Call of Duty studio. And it's like, well, who are you going to get to do Tony Hawk now? And they're like, we don't fucking know. Yeah, but easily 10 out of 10 replayability. I already, like, in playing this again, like 6 or 7 months later to play it to refresh myself for this review, I'm already like halfway through 100% in Tony Hawk's levels for the first game already.
Yeah,
like it's just good. And even aside from that stuff, there's so many collectibles you can get. Like I spent so much time getting all the things to unlock Officer Dick. And then did you even know about the aliens that are hidden in every level?
No.
There's a little alien doll hidden in every level, and if you find them all, you unlock an alien as a skater.
Yeah. So even if I wasn't going to play this again, I'd get a good score just because there's so much fucking shit to do.
There is so much shit in this game. Like I've only completed like 90 of the challenges, and there's like 280 of them total in the game. It's fucking nuts.
On top of wonderful multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
God. Really one of the greatest, one of the greatest games of all time. Straight up.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but this was easily one of my favorite games of last year. Like,
I mean, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Oh yeah.
And this is just that again, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like last year, this might have been my favorite game of last year, and that's even factoring in shit like Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal. So it's just like, yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, it's good.
So good.
All right. So to recap, gameplay, they both gave it a 10. Graphics and design, 8s across the board. Sound and music, 10s. Replayability, 10s. For a total of 38 out of 40 for A4 and 38 out of 40 for Joe. A combined 76 out of 80, which translates into a 95 out of 100 for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2.
What's the Metacritic on that?
Nice. 95. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 is still really high on Metacritic, as A4 was saying.
Yeah, 1 and 2 right now is a 89 on PS4.
Bullshit. Should be higher. It's just one of those snooty critics that are like, well, it's a modern game. They should do other things with it.
Oh, like Joe when he talks about film.
What? This should be the gold standard for. This should be the gold standard for
you're snooty
for remakes of Western games. I would say the gold standard for like Eastern games being remade is the Resident Evil 2 remake. This is definitely the Western one.
Yeah,
just so fucking good, and it sucks that we'll probably never get another game like this.
I hope they bring in 3 and 4 because I only played a little bit of 4. I've never played 3.
4 is great, but it's also weird because it was the first game to get rid of the timer. You just go around, and it's a free roaming game where you go around and you get the goals, and then they give you a timer based on whatever goal you're doing.
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay.
It's kind of like the first step to Underground is kind of what 4 was. Which
pretty much.
It was the game right before Underground, so I guess it makes sense. But yeah, you go and you like talk to people and you get challenges, and then there'll be ones that like you can find like normal, where like you got to find all the seagulls or do all of this. They're always there. I'm pretty sure, right? A4. There's like a person
on every level that'll be like, I bet you can't beat this high score. But then there'll be another one where, like, I remember in the first level, there's Ollie the Magic Bum, who's a character that came back from Tony Hawk 2, and he's like, nice. Oh, there's pink elephants everywhere. You got to get them all in one combo, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like 4 a lot, but
4 is underrated. People talk about 3 a lot more. 4 is. I played it actually. Either last year or 2019, and it's great. It's hard as shit, though. That might be one of the hardest ones.
Yeah.
All right, well, 95 out of 100. I think that's a perfectly acceptable score for this game. That's it for this week, guys. Next week, we are reviewing Halo Combat Evolved, another fucking game I've been obsessed with. my entire life.
Yeah.
So
We have 2 nostalgia trips in a row, really.
oh my god, the next episode's going to be 9 hours long, probably. So make
Better
sure you're
fuck
Yeah,
nice,
because it's going to be me and Zach arguing with you. But anyway,
nice and rested up for Halo next week. Guys, thank you.
Till then, live always in the nude.
Get some grindage, bro.
walk with your cock held high.
Fuck off those who don't like Tony Hawk or Halo.